Okay, so it's time for another Ask Me Anything. I just did a video like a few seconds ago. I just ended it. It's over on my Radius Hand YouTube, so I'll link there for here. But I like to do an Ask Me Anything post at the end of each month. So I got it scheduled right now on the last Saturday of the month. So I have a predictable time to expect to do this, so I can like kind of plan ahead and get my brain in the right space. But anyway, so this is for September, and what I'm going to be doing with these is this is going to be an independent post on my Patreon, as is the other one, and I'm going to put that link in the respective post as the reply, so that people can get to it, and that way you can, everything's like all streamlined. So before we get into it, I'm a Radiant Naware. I'm your resident witch and creatrix over to Radius Hand and Danaus Divine, where I create myth, magic, and meaning for your everyday life through art, intuition, and energy work. And we're gonna do a little Ask Me Anything. So, a little spiel about the Ask Me Anything. The whole point of it is, this is a way to find out things. This is an easy way to get information. This is good for spot questions, really small things. Since I don't actively teach at this moment, and I'm probably not going to anytime soon, as far as my art goes, this is a way to kind of like get in there. I do have consults that I do where people will formally ask me questions, and those are paid opportunities. Basically, you're going to get a really comprehensive, very well thought out answer, versus this is just like random stuff. So there we go. So our question is from September, and it is what are the best stones and crystals to protect and ground ourselves? So actually paused on answering this. I was thinking about a few ways to answer this. I thought, well, I could just rattle some stuff off on the post, or I could make a full post about it, and so I decided it would be video only. There might be a little abridged answer inside, like basically whatever I put on my post-it note will be what makes it into the post, but you have to watch the video to get it. So the thing with it is there's not an easy answer to this. I'm sure that that's what people are looking for, that's what they would like to hear, but there's not, because with everything it depends. So if you want a very brief stock answer, I would look for stones that are brown, black, gray, or you could go with things that are metallic, like pyrite is gold, or like there's a silver version of something that looks like pyrite that my mind's blanking. It might be, I don't know. Anyway, so jet, obsidian would be black stones. Brown, there's a mahogany obsidian that's brown. There's also, aragonite, tiger's eye. Gray, the most prominent one that I think of is hematite, but you could also use the smoky quartz because it's a translucent gray. And then pyrite, and then there's like that silver thing that I'm just, first I can't seem to place it. Okay, so here's the here's the real answer, though. I know that wasn't a fake answer. That was just that wasn't the whole answer. So the reality is you need to use what works for you. The only way for you to find out what works for you is to go and like hang out with a stone. If you can, at the point that you can go to a store easily and hold a stone, pick it up, walk around with it. At this point, because we're in the middle of COVID-19 still, and precaution is like really the best way to go. Going places and handling things is not the wisest decision. So you can still sit with and kind of meditate with the stone and its energy, and it's like, how does it feel to you? What does it make you think of? Things like that. And that's going to give you a better answer than anything I could just rattle off, or anything you're going to find in a book. Because the reality is, the book is somebody's opinion, okay? A lot of these books that suggest crystals or whatever, it's one author parroting another author that may or may not be parroting another author that may or may not come from any specific distinct source. Then you also have to think of it is, and the reason stock answers aren't great is cultures differ widely Like, you know, in some cultures, white is purity and innocence. If you look at it from a scientific perspective, white light is all colors. If you look at it from an artistic perspective, white is devoid of color. In some cases, white is symbolic of death. So all of those associations are correct, all of them. But some of them don't jive together real well. So what it means to you is really what's important, right? So that would be the first thing. And my second question is, what feels like protection to you? Is protection solid? Is it stable? Is it rough? Is it smooth? Is it, you know, does it remind you of mirrors and so it's shiny and it's reflective? And then look for stones that have those qualities. So if you were going for something that, I guess, you were going for something like that hides, right? Like hides your, hides or distorts something. So then maybe you would go for something latticed, like calcite. Or, let's see, there's a... And also, I guess the other thing you need to consider is a lot of stones come in more than one color. I have, let's see, where is it? I'm trying to think of where the stone is. We're gonna take a little intermission. Okay. Sorry, that was a little... What you didn't see was me sitting down and kicking the tripod, and then the phone falling out of the tripod, and just me making a mess of things. So I went inside and got some crystals. Okay, so I've got a few. I didn't get any brown ones because I actually don't have a lot in the way of brown stones. But so like I'm saying, got this one, right? So this is kind of this like milky, whitish, brown color that looks like there's striations to it, all right? It's, you know, about the size of an egg. It's pretty chunky. This is carnelian. This is a piece of carnelian. When people think of carnelian, they usually think of red, or like a red-orange, or an orangey red. Lots of stones come in a lot of different colors. And then there's sometimes are certain, like there's yellow tiger's eye, there's red tiger's eye, there's blue tiger's eye. And then, you know, there's stones that are synthetic, and there's stones, you know, that are naturally occurring. And got another one. This is a smoky quartz egg, and it is very much so egg-shaped. And these huge things hang out on my altar usually. This is a piece of black tourmaline, which is about half the size of an egg. And then I've got some black moonstone, which is like larkivite or luricavite. I have to look it up. I always transpose the letters. Anyway, so I picked up these because these called to me. That's like the big thing. And the reason I say you need to go with what works for you, because I've walked around and experienced jet, and it's too much. It's not a comfortable feeling for me. It's not something I'd want to carry around with me. I don't love black obsidian. Okay, I don't. Snowflake obsidian, I do. And it's got a gentler tone on it for me. Like, that's what it feels like to me. Meanwhile, black tourmaline and I, like, we're good buddies. And if you were to glance at a piece of black tourmaline and you were to glance at a piece of black obsidian, and they're both polished, you really wouldn't be able to tell the difference just looking at them. And a lot of stones, that's like a thing. So it's important to kind of note that as well. So you need to think of what protection feels like to you. So you can link this to an element. So if protection, if you're thinking, if you like to work with angels and you're like really into the you know, Archangel Michael and the fiery sword and things like that, then hitting on the fire element as protection is probably good for you. So like, what stones feel like fire? What are hot? And also, if we're going to go with that analogy, consider that fire doesn't come in one color. It comes in several colors. And some of these colors change based on the degree of heat at which the flames are reaching, and sometimes with different ignition sources. So like, you see how it's getting real relative here? God, this is driving me bananas. Okay, it's a little better. It's a little better. I see the things, and they're like, they're doing like this behind me, and it's super distracting. Sorry. If you consider, okay, there's a lot of biblical references going on. Okay, just bear with me. If you consider the whole story of the Pharaoh and Moses, right? He parts the Red Sea, makes a way, and then the water comes crashing down and destroys the Pharaoh's men. So there's a protective and kind of an offensive thing. Okay, if we want a nerd reference, all right, think of the water and the Nazgul and the Lord of the Rings, right? Arwen crosses the river and then calls down, you know, the river to be protective, and they don't want to. And at first, the ringwraiths don't want to cross the river because of that. And so, like, if that's what feels like protection to you, then you know what is water? Is it blue? Is it purple? Is it green? Is it a combination of those things? You know, same thing with air. A sandstorm is a little bit of air, a little bit of earth. So there's like, it's a, you know, so reference. But like, if you think of gale force winds or tornadoes or hurricanes and stuff like that, like that wind will like take care of shit. It will wipe things out. And so again, you need to consider how this feels for you. You know, is protective, like, is it a wall? Is it bricks? Is it a well? Is it like, is it you being shrouded in darkness so that you can't be seen? You can be easily avoided. So those are, because we've done all the other ones. Let's we haven't done Earth, so circle back into Earth for those people, because I hate when people do incomplete lists. Like, it kind of grates on my nerves. So if Earth is protective to you, then, you know, is this a cave? Is this a cavern? Is it something dark? Is it moist? Is it secluded? Is it hidden? Is it behind a wall? Is it stalwart and sturdy? Is it impenetrable? And then again, look for, and the key point is, what does this mean to you? What stones mean this to you? And then there you go. There's your answer. You still don't want to go and say, okay, well, I think that the protection, it's sturdy and it's got a nice foundation. So let me flip through this book and say, oh, well, these are all of the stones that mean this, and so it must be one of these. No, that's not necessarily accurate at all. Now, what I will say, and this is not to knock any books, it's not the best way to go about it. And I'll go ahead and say that I used to be of this mindset that, okay, well, I'm going to go to this reference, but it was brought to my attention very clearly. I was like, well, where did these references come from? Some of them are cultural references, and a lot of the cultural references come from different places. And so it becomes like a kind of an appropriation issue, because you're cherry picking information without really appreciating where it's coming from and why it exists and why like, why is this and if it comes from a culture outside of your own, and it's not one that you're connected to, and it's not one that you're immersed in, and it's not one that you even have any experience with, is that really the best course of action? Right? To put it another way, your people probably have an answer to this, so why don't you go talk to your people, right? You know, all groups have, like, culture is what makes up humanity. Like, everybody has a culture. You may be distant from yours, you may not feel very connected to it, but, you know, part of that, and it really, there's a lot of factors about why that may be, but, you know, give it a shot, give it a chance, look to those things. You can also consider, from taking another point of social responsibility, what is around you, what is convenient. Like, maybe brick dust, that's the stone you need, right? Maybe it's dirt, maybe it's just earth, maybe it's silica, right? Because there's quartz all around you, right? That's the thing. I think that kind of wraps it up. So now, I guess my final point is, can you get a book and look through it and get ideas? Absolutely. And you know what? Hey, this is your practice. This is your choice. You can do whatever the hell you want, right? Because in my mind, you're going to do that anyway. But take other people's recommendations with a grain of salt. Because the reality is not everything works for everybody. Not everything is appropriate for everybody. And like I said, there are probably people out there who would suggest Jet. I don't like Jet. Jet and I don't get along. Right? I also don't get along with, there's a selenite. Selenite is used for a lot of things. I can't tolerate the feel of selenite. So anywhere selenite would be suggested, I'd be like, I'm going to pass on that one and go for something else. And then, of course, all those other things. So, hopefully that answers your question. I know it's not, like, really the answer a lot of people want, but that's kind of the point of coming to me and asking me, is I'm not going to give you necessarily a standard stock answer. I'm going to give you a different perspective based on my experience, what I've learned, and, you know, what I've done and observed and whatnot. So, if you have any questions, remember to pop in when I do my Ask Me Anything. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can head over to Patreon. You can become a patron and you'll get notified whenever I do another one. And if you're watching this on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe so you can see more videos like this and other things. And a big thank you to all my Patreon subscribers. It means the world to me that you give a shit about what I do and that you want to hear from me. And yeah, so long, farewell, Alfredo and goodbye, and I will see y'all. Let's see. I've already got the post up for today. It is a stash cast, just a heads up, and it is for a radius hand, so that's already up. Otherwise, I will see you hopefully bright-eyed and bushy-tailed tomorrow on Monday for our, let's see, what is it? Monday motivation, I think it is. I think I don't have my planner in front of me because, of course, I came out here without it because that's what I like to do with my time, is to be completely unprepared. Yay! All right, toodles.